This is the train carriage, third class. So this is the Unidome. We converted this. I'll try and keep the to a minimum.
Hi guys, welcome back to Liberation. Today we're going to go and speak to Reuben.
He told us he was living off grid in a train carriage, so we hope you enjoy it and back to it.
I am Reuben Leverage, aka the Eco Gypsy. We're in sunny Sea Portland, and this is my crib. This is my pad, this is where I live. We've got the railway carriage, which we converted 8-9 years ago now for me and the children to live in. It's a 1890s third class railway carriage, which we've built a canopy over out of driftwood from the beach. So we've got a veranda this side and we've got the kitchen diner the other side. And yeah, it's a nice little place to live. When I moved up here initially, one of the aims was to be off-grid. It sort of accidentally happened that by the time we got the plan and permission to live here, we had already been living here for 3 years off-grid. So we're initially in caravans and just a really basic solar setup. We've got turbines up as well as the solar. And I've basically done it all myself with a little bit of help and stuff from YouTube and friends. And we've just sort of built the system up for our needs. So we've got more than enough power to do everything we need to do. We've got lights, we've got charging points, we've got everything you'd normally have in a normal house, but completely off-grid. So we've got rainwater harvesters for our water and solar and wind for our power. Water, fortunately we're in Norfolk, plenty of water coming out of the sky. The rainwater comes off the roof, so just a tin roof system. The water goes into the tanks. We've got a basic sediment filter, which is for flushing toilets, showering and washing up sink water. Additionally to that, I've got a cold feed that runs through a three-way filter, which is then, that's a separate line, which is basically for our drinking water. At the minute I've got 3,000 litres underground and 1,000 litres above ground. One night's rain will flush the whole 4,000 litre tank through off our one roof. And it's lovely for your hair when you're in the shower. We've got the railway carriage, which is my primary home, which has got the 2 beds and the kitchen, and there's a bathroom here as well, which is a adapted shed. We've also got the Unidome, which is the circular conversion of the filter bed, the sewage bed that was here, and various bits of crap that don't need to be here that you end up with because there's nowhere else to put them. So we're stood out here on the veranda and I'll walk you through to where we spend most of the time. This is all driftwood off the beach, so all these timbers are green heart and taro, which is what they built all the sea defences off. So all the structure of this building, except then these, apart from these telegraph poles, was all washed up on the beach. 85% of everything here is stolen, skips or washed up on the beach. Not stolen. We spend probably more time on the veranda and outside by the fire than we do anywhere else. When the weather changes and it gets very, very cold, we normally tilt. We've got some tilts that we put around here, like canvas tilts. The indoor space is relatively small, and this just makes it a lot more comfortable. This is the train carriage, yeah, this is the third class. These are passenger train carriage, 27 foot long. This one's 1890s. Originally ran in London and then decommissioned in the 20s. Like I say, an old boy was living in it with his family when they knocked his house down, and that was in the middle of the house. I then purchased it and brought it over here, and I'm doing the same thing. Come through. Ignore the mess. We've got a 3-foot door, 12-foot timber, 12-foot timber, and that adds up, so we didn't have to cut it because it's very hard. This is the same size as the veranda, so we've got a living space here, the kitchen space, and then we've got a bedroom each end and an office in the middle. This would be a compartment door. So you've got 5 doors on here. This actual size here would be the original compartment size for the original train. So you'd have a bench each side and a door, obviously each side to go out in and out the platform. So the bedrooms are 10 foot. So you've got 10 foot by 9 foot, but plenty big enough. And I've got the best bed in England. So as you can see, I've got a decent double in here, and this is a nice little bedroom really. There's plenty enough room in here for 2 people and very cozy in the winter. The end bedroom is my daughter's room. This room's the same size, 10 foot by 9 foot up this end. Tell this is a teenage girl's room because it's full of clothes and crap. But again, these are nice little rooms really. Yeah, this is the main heat source. It's got a back boiler and it runs 3 radiators. So the same as a conventional house heating system, but it's just on a 12-volt pump, so we can have a thermostat set. The kitchen, I like the open plan bit. It makes, because when we do have people over and we are cooking, you can cook in here. It's, you know, it's a big enough kitchen to cook in. So we've just done that as an open area. Standard sink, and then we've got there's the drinking tap which runs through the filter. So that's filtered rainwater which we drink, and then the other taps are just standard straight rainwater. And we'll take you onto our luxury bathroom, which is a 10 by 12 shed. In here, the solar setup, the battery bank, batteries are in there, 810 amp hour batteries at the minute, which is more than enough. Shower, toilet, sink, same as a normal bathroom, but obviously all running off rainwater. We've got a gas shower. They're just an instant, like a combi, instant heat. Again, from this side, it's a completely different building. Got the wash machine windows in. Hand blown glass from the Isle of Zanussi. We've got 3 of these in here. In fact, you'll see these everywhere because these are fantastic ways of getting light in. When we initially moved here, this was basically an empty site. It's an Anglian water site, so it was used for sewage treatments works. So there's one building on here, or one brick built chamber on here, and the rest of it was, I think 1979 is when they moved off. So you can imagine there'd been no one on here, nothing on here since that time. So there was brambles as thick as trees, and it was very, very overgrown. I've lived in houses. I think I put my situation down to blood and my upbringing. The reason we ended up with the railway carriage, I come from a travelling family and I've always been in the caravans off and on. I've lived in all sorts of different things, buses and boats, and so this came along and it seemed the perfect sort of thing. They're nice and warm. It's got a bit of character to it, which is suits me. Everything here has been done on a budget because I needed a place to live at the time. So there's a bit of necessity. It's comfortable, but I like the fact that we've reused stuff. All the timbers off the beach, which we've salvaged. So 85% of what you're looking at has either been given to me, or we've found, or is just washed up. And I kind of like that vibe, you know. I kind of like that way of doing things. I kind of like the tin roof. I like the rain on the roof. I like the elements around me. I like it here in the winter time when it is harder. It just makes you a bit more grateful of stuff. It's not for everyone. This just suits me, suits where I am in my life. I could never quite get my head round paying mortgages for 30 years and paying bills forever. And I think most people, with the present crisis, economy, things that are going on, I think a lot of people are looking more towards this way of living because it just makes sense. It's a sensible way to go. You know, I quite like having a wood burner for my heat. I quite like being conscious of what power we're using and what water we're using. And the times where we have run out of water, it makes you when you're humping water butts about, you're a little less frivolous with it when you have got it. For the people who get it, they get it, you know. The railway carriage came along at the time in my life where I was like, I needed a place to live. It suited my needs at the time. We built the place in 6 or 8 weeks. Done. Home. Warm, dry, and you know, so it's got a nice feeling about it, and that was great for the kids, and hopefully it'll be a great place for me to live till I'm an old man. The people, they all want to know what my toilet situation is, how I cook, how I sleep, all the normal things that you normally do. I say, to me it's normal. We spend most of the dry months we're out and we cook on the fire. Here we've got an indoor kitchen, but it makes more sense to cook outside on the fire when you can, because it don't smell the place up, and it's just a nicer way of cooking, in my opinion. The toilet, we've got a conventional septic tank, so it runs like a conventional septic tank, except it's flushed with rainwater. So poo's normal, cooking's normal, sleeping's normal, everything's fairly normal. Not that it's looking particularly beautiful at the minute, but this is where we mainly spend most of the time, not normally burning pallets. I've got a big pan, like a big cast pan that we put on here in pots, and do a nice stew, nice Joey Gray, or a bit of breakfast on here in the mornings before work. Yeah, so we spend the most time in this area or on the veranda in the summer. So what else have we got here? Firewood, which is a constant thing that I'm always doing. So we've got the tractors with a processor on. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 12-month-a-year job. This is a little mobile greenhouse. That'll be full of tomatoes and chilies in the next week or two. This is a shepherd's hut that we built a few years ago, which is going to go down onto the campsite, our campsite we've got. This is an interesting building that we had made for my mother-in-law, which is a fiberglass passive home. That's a prototype building which is made especially for her. This is a Burrito van, which is a little business that we run in the summer. So a little catering trailer. So this is the Unidome. This is the old original sewage treatments filter bed that we converted a few years ago. Done this with George Clark on Amazing Spaces programme. In fact, we've done this and the Railway Carriage on there. I wanted to try and attempt to do a self-supporting roof and a really nice ambient, cool hangout space. When you get some music playing in here and a few whiskies, it's a nice place to hang out. Some more hand-blown Zanussi glass here. We've got some bottle tops and some shot glasses, anything I could find really. Yeah, a nice rotating door. This building was really just us showing off really, because we don't live in here. It's just a nice way of using up some materials we had and making a unusable space usable. In here is the self-supporting roundhouse roof. This is a nice project to do. This was a really enjoyable thing. When the weather's really bad in here, you get the wood burner lit and the rain's coming in and the water comes in these pipes into the pond, and you've got a bit of music in here. It's a really lovely space to hang out in. So originally this was full up to the top with a coke rock, which is what they use to filter the sewage or the water. And there was a big centre, this centre column had a rotating arm on, which they sprayed the water through. So we built the platform so you can see out of the windows. And then I quite fancied having a little fish pond in here. So we put the pond in, and normally there's pumps running and we have fish in there and stuff like that. At the minute, the dog's gonna go for a swim in there, I should think. Just have a bit of quiet time and chill out and stuff. So we didn't drink all the beer, but we drank a lot of that beer in building the place and put the bottles in there. Bit of an 80s reference to Catweasel for our older listeners. This was the original pipe. The hull of this is designed to filter and clean water. So this tap was on the outside, and then the water came out of that and into a ground tank. Yeah, lovely space. Any round buildings you go into have always got a really nice ambient feel about them. Every one I've been in. Me and a couple of friends done the roof purely for the fact that a friend of mine wanted to do one and I quite fancied the challenge. It's quite an old-fashioned way of building. The carriage came from an old boy who'd lived in it till he was 100 years old. I'd like to think I could probably manage that and tootle about here till I'm 100 years old. For me, yeah, you'll never get me back in the house. With how we got it now, it's took a while, don't get me wrong. We have been in the dark. We have sat here and wondered what the hell I'm doing, so I'm not gonna make out it's all been like roses, but yeah, we've got it down to fine art. I haven't blown anything up for weeks. I think with off-grid, at the moment, it's like a buzzword. So there's a lot of people who want to do it, and I think anyone who does want to do it should at least look into it or spend a summer or you know, just again, it's just the basic things. Not everyone's able to do it. People are trapped in a situation where they've got mortgage to pay or rent to pay, or there's a lot of people I know who are in places that they can't actually afford to get out of. So they've got good jobs, they're earning good money, but they can't get out of that and move somewhere else. It's very easy for me to say, yeah, it's cool, here, do what I'm doing. But that, for some people, that ain't that easy. The time when I'd done it was perfect for me, and I'd lived and had experience previously, so the adaptation wasn't that hard to do. It came quite easily to transition between being in a house and not being in a house. So for anyone who wants to give it a go, give it a go, but make sure you go into it with your eyes open, not with rose tinted glasses, and not thinking the life's going to be like, yeah, it's all going to be really straightforward, because it doesn't kind of work like that. I do a YouTube channel, not quite as professional as this one, but and we do a lot of videos on off-grid living, and also do the wagon painting videos and sort of more of the Romany heritage stuff, which I find personally very interesting. So if you want to have a look, check me out, Eco Gypsy. Give me all that subscriptions, thumbs up, comments, malarkey. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Reuben for showing us around.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know in the comments what you think. If you want to support what we do, we've also got merch available. That'll be linked down below, and we'll see you on the next video.